Wow. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Take a Break. My name is Jeff Allen. I'm so excited you're here today. And I'm here joined by two of my friends who are usually behind the scenes a little bit. Not so much Samantha. You're up there in front of the people at Webster. Samantha is the site coordinator at Webster. Is that what it's called?
Site director.
Site director at Webster. Let's get the title right. And so if you've ever been there, you've seen her probably. She's running around making it all happen. And she's been on this before. So thanks for coming back.
Yeah, no problem.
Apparently we didn't scare you too bad.
Nope.
And then Tyler Curtis, you probably get emails from time to time from Tyler with the hub. And so he is way behind the scenes, but here he is jumping up front. And speaking of Webster, he'll be playing bass guitar at Webster this Sunday morning. Today, we are going to talk about our speech. Matt preached on that this Sunday with our sermon series, Proverbs, Words of Wisdom. Is that what it's called, or Words to Live By?
Words to Live By.
Words to Live By. Thanks, Tyler. I needed you for that. But before we do that, let's take a look at his short gathering from this week.
Years ago, when I moved back to St. Louis from graduate school, I ran into this guy that I'd grown up with. We went to high school together, and he shared a story that I didn't remember at all. He said, when we played football, I was a senior, he was a freshman. There was one particular time when I said something to him that really helped him. I guess it was something encouraging. And he years later told me how much it meant to him that I, a senior, would encourage him, a freshman at the time. I walked away realizing that, full confession, I didn't remember this conversation at all, but for this guy, he had remembered it even 2 decades later. And it was just a reminder to me that the words we use really matter. The book of Proverbs, and actually the Bible as a whole, talks a lot about how we use our words, how we use the powers of the tongue, they call it. And the book of Proverbs identifies 3 mistakes that we often make as human beings when it comes to speech. The first one is we speak way too quickly without really listening to others, or just simply reacting to other people without reflection. I know that I do this all the time, formulating what I'm going to say while other people are talking instead of really listening. In our online world, it is so easy to just react and blurt something out online without really taking time to reflect. Second mistake that we make is that we avoid hard conversations. So many of us were trained to be nice that we often are insincere or not really honest with what we say. We avoid having hard conversations that can actually help build up a relationship. And the last mistake we make is we gossip. The Bible talks a lot actually about gossip. That is talking about other people instead of talking to other people. We so often tell stories that aren't ours to tell. And when we do that, we can, actually ruin relationships, cause conflict where there doesn't need to be. We can hurt people. But in the end, the book of Proverbs doesn't just warn us, but it actually encourages us to think about, do your words build others up or tear others down? So my challenge for you this week, maybe even today, is think about how you use your words. And maybe starting today, say something to someone, a kid, a parent, a friend, someone at work. Say something that encourages, that builds up, that thanks them. Something they'll remember 2 years or 2 decades from now. Use your words this week, not to tear down, but to build up.
I think Brando Hall may have said it all for exactly how we might all be feeling about this right now. Oh man, why is he calling me out?
I felt that too.
Yeah, that is a real truth right there. Let's look into our question here. If I can get it pulled up. Here we go. So here are the things that we do. We speak too quickly. We avoid hard conversations. We gossip. So my question for all of you, online especially, and the two here, my friends here, which of these is the most challenging for you? Who just inhaled? I heard an inhale.
I can go. It's me.
Okay, go, Tyler.
I'm always ready.
He's ready.
The one for me is gossip. And it's not gossip in the sense of talking about other people in a negative way necessarily, but in sharing somebody else's story when it's not mine to share, just like Matt said. One of the things that I focus on a lot when I'm talking with other people is sharing my experience rather than just giving advice, because a lot of the time my advice is not based on anything except for a somewhat educated guess. But my experience is based on the things I've actually learned from living my life and the things that I've been through. So if it's applicable, then I can share that with somebody and it can be impactful. The other thing is it can be honest. I know what I went through and I know what's true for me. I don't know what's true for other people. So when I'm sharing somebody else's story or somebody else's experience, that's not necessarily honest.
That's good.
That is good. Yeah, I think for me, I avoid hard conversations.
Yeah.
Like, I can own that. I don't like the feeling of that. I don't like to be uncomfortable. And usually after I do them, I feel so much better, but it's the getting there. And so I pretty much avoid at all cost if I can.
Yeah.
And that's because you're a 6.
Yeah, we're talking about the Enneagram. So if you are an Enneagram, here's our numbers. Are you ready? 4, 5, 6.
Easy.
Yes. So yeah, you're gonna hear. I mean, these answers make sense based on those numbers alone.
For sure.
Mhm.
I would agree with Samantha with the hard conversations piece. I don't like it. I don't want to feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
in any way,
Mhm.
shape, or form. Anyway, let alone in my conversations and my relationships.
Yep.
So that's a really difficult one for me. Let me see. Amy Monroe says this. She says, gossip is the way of staying and listening to someone or a group talking about someone. Sorry, gossip in the way of staying.
Mm.
Yep. I could see that for sure. Yeah, gossip is a hard one too, because, Matt talked about this and I talked about this with Matt while he was writing his sermon. Like, there is a whole industry based around gossip, with celebrity gossip and things like this. And, we are all, especially if you like pop culture in any way, shape, or form, we all are following it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if it's like rumors or things like that about, everybody was like talking about the new Taylor Swift stuff dropping, which were all rumors, which was all hype. And they wanted you to talk about that.
Right.
But still, like, that's just part of like, can we find the difference between like the hype for that and gossip about our friends?
Right.
Or people we don't know.
One of the things that I think about too is, like Matt said, building people up. Gossip, even if it's negative, could build somebody up in the way, if we're gossiping about somebody and we're talking negatively about them or something that they've done, we're hiding that from them. Whereas if somebody's hurt us and we can talk to them openly about it, instead of just talking about what they did to somebody else, we can say, hey, I'm hurt by you. And this is, instead of just talking behind their back, we can approach that conversation and have the hard conversation and build that relationship rather than tearing it down by gossiping behind someone's back.
Yeah. Well, here's a good way to gossip to someone's face. Brando Hall just wrote, new Taylor Swift ain't good.
Oh,
Agree.
Oh, Brando.
So let's talk
I don't
all
even
the
know
crap
you,
on
but this is
Brando.
wrong.
I'm with you, Brando. I think it was low effort. I think she's capable of so much
Okay,
more.
we gotta move on from this because I'm uncomfortable. Taylor Swift's new album was the best one she's had lyric wise.
Okay.
Agree.
He says I'd say it to her face 100%.
If that's how you got to meet her, that's how you got to meet her.
What about by the way, we have a guest in studio with us that's just hanging out in the back.
Taylor Swift impersonator.
Sarah Turner is here. Sarah is the worship leader at our Webster site. Man, we got a lot of Webster people here today.
Woo.
Yeah.
Representing. What about some good words? Like he said, our words matter. And his example was he forgot that he even encouraged this guy. Yet here was something that meant so much. What about that for you? Have you ever received an encouraging word like that, or given one that you weren't even sure was going to land, but it did?
Should I go first again, or do you want to go this time?
I'm gonna go first this time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Change things up here between us.
Good for you.
Thanks. I tell this story a lot, but I'm just gonna keep telling it because it's true. Martin Leathers is the reason I'm at the gathering. And it was a lunch with him and him just speaking some real truth to me of like, yeah, you have a really great job, but like, I don't really see your community. And like, you've kind of mentioned that a number of times. And it took me 3 days to realize how accurate he was and that I was working at a different church, but then I was just going home and laying on the couch with my dog, which was great. But I didn't really have like a community.
Yeah.
And, I was telling someone the other day, like, I now have like a real community that I hang out with all the time. And Martin's words to me, like and it wasn't like mean. It was just more of like, I really want you to think about like what life looks like in St. Louis. And it was just really impactful. And I don't think he'll ever understand like the meaning, like how much that meant to me. But yeah.
I didn't see this on I didn't know you on that side. I know you on this side now. which I can totally see the community that you have.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really cool. And like what your life looks like in St. Louis is someone who is excelling and vibing.
That's right.
What about you? You've got something.
Yeah. This is actually an example from high school, which shows like I think this was 7 or 8 years ago for me. And there was a kid that was struggling academically, and I was not. And he asked me like, how are you keeping up with everything that's going on? And I told him like one of the things that I do, which I still do now, is I just read for 10 or 15 minutes before bed. It helps me go to sleep easier, and it helps me stay current with like the things that I'm supposed to be doing right now, like the things that I personally care about that I'm studying. And he took that to heart apparently, and started doing that. And a couple weeks later, he was like, "Hey man, like I did that, and I'm way caught up now, and I'm actually going ahead, and I feel way better about what's going on." And like, I'm sure he doesn't remember that, but I remember that I shared that with him, and then he shared that it was successful and that he actually grew from it. So just simply sharing what works for me sometimes can help other people.
Yeah. Well, here's a live one in the moment, an encouraging word from Brando. Again, I love these, by the way. You're all killing it. These are super helpful and challenging. So thanks, Brando, for that.
Thank you.
I definitely have had people, I shared this on the pregame for Church Online, but I'll share it here because many of you may not have seen it. My wife said to me before we had our son, she looked at me very sincerely, and she is a funny person. She jokes all the time. She's hardly ever like actually serious. But so this meant even more because of that. But she looked at me and she's like, "You're going to be a wonderful father." And when she said that, I was like, that's, it meant so much. And so, and I had a few of my friends, Brando, who's on here, said that to me. And I'm like, that's the best feeling ever when you are affirmed that way. And words really do matter. So guys, I would love to hear that. What's something that someone has said to you, or something that you've heard repeated to you that you've said to a friend that has just meant a lot? Words matter, like Matt said, and I think that's awesome. So drop that in the chat, send it to me in an email, whatever. If you like the short gatherings, you can check those out every week. They're on Instagram. I think I even saw it on Facebook this week.
Really?
Yeah. That was an accident.
On purpose. No, meta changes everything every day. So
I think it came through as a story.
So that does happen.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out on Instagram and Facebook to watch those every week. They're out on Mondays.
Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays.
Cool. It all depends because I produce those. So if I don't get it to Tyler on time, it's going to go out on Tuesday instead of Monday. Awesome. So I can't see who this person is, but I'm going to read. Someone told me that I'm the new Sabra, which is impossible and a compliment. I think I know who that is.
I think I know who that is also.
But I'm not going to say it out loud. Sarah says it's her. Is it actually you? Okay.
You're not tall enough.
Awesome. If you don't know who Sabra is, anyway, that's all. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. We're excited that you're here. I'll see you very, very soon next week. And y'all are the best. Take care.